Hare Krishna, we continue reading from Bhagavad Gita as it is. We are reading from chapter 4, Transcendental Knowledge, text 15. Evam gyatva kritam karma purver api mumukshubhihi kuru karmeva tasmat tvam purve purvataram kritam. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Shilpa Prabhupada. All the liberated souls in ancient times acted with this understanding of my transcendental nature. Therefore, you should perform your duty following in their footsteps. So what is Krishna saying? That all liberated souls in ancient times, how did they act? Understanding Krishna's transcendental nature, that Krishna's form is not material. He has a form which is eternal, which is transcendental. It is full of, it is a Sat Chid Ananda, full of knowledge, bliss, and it is eternal. So it's transcendental. So that is the proper understanding. That is the proper understanding of the Lord, and that is liberation, when we understand that properly. And that he does not get any karma. We read yesterday that by his activities, there's no karmic reactions. Why? Because he's not acting on a material platform. His activities are not material. Our activities right now, because we are inside this body, our activities have become material. But when we are situated on the platform of the soul, then our activities are also spiritual, transcendental. Yeah. So there are two classes of men. Some of them are full of polluted material things within their hearts, and some of them are materially free. Krishna consciousness is equally beneficial for both of these persons. Those who are full of dirty things can take to the line of Krishna consciousness for a gradual cleansing process, following the regulative principles of devotional service. Those who are already cleansed of the impurities may continue to act in the same Krishna consciousness so that others may follow their exemplary activities and thereby be benefited. So whether we have full of material desires or we are not full of material desires, we should follow the principles of Krishna consciousness. That is the duty of each and every living entity. So if our heart is full of dirty things, by following the process of Krishna consciousness, what happens? Our heart becomes cleansed. And then for persons whose heart is already clean, they continue to act in Krishna consciousness. Why? So that others, like us, we can follow in their footsteps. Foolish persons or neophytes in Krishna consciousness often want to retire from activities without having knowledge of Krishna consciousness. Arjuna's desire to retire from activities on the battlefield was not approved by the Lord. One need only know how to act to retire from the activities of Krishna consciousness and to sit aloof, making a show of Krishna consciousness is less important than actually engaging in the field of activities for the sake of Krishna. So if someone says, no, okay, so Prabhupada is saying that if I think, okay, now I'm not going to do anything. I'm Krishna conscious and I'm not going to do anything. But my heart is still full of the desires. I have not yet achieved the Krishna consciousness. So I will act in some way or the other because my consciousness is not yet Krishna conscious, right? So instead of doing that, I should try to understand what is Krishna consciousness means. I need to understand how I have to act. Not that I don't have to do anything, but I have to understand how I have to do it, what I have to do, and how do I do it. So here, how to do. This is what Prabhupada is saying, that just by making a show, then people will think, oh, wow, this person is so renounced. Oh, such a great saintly person. That is just like making a show. That is making a show instead of understanding what in fact actually has to be done. So that is what we need to know. How to act. How to act. Here Krishna is telling Arjuna, you fight. I want you to fight. And Arjuna is saying, no, I will go retire. So for Arjuna, he will act in Krishna consciousness when he's following Krishna's instruction. On Krishna's order, he fights. And that's why after hearing Bhagavad Gita, then he tells Arjuna, yes, now he tells Krishna, yes, now I've understood and I'm going to do whatever you want me to do. That is the proper way of acting, to act as per Krishna's instructions. Now we will say, but here Krishna is there personally giving Arjuna. How do we know? But Krishna has left his instructions here in Bhagavad Gita for us. He's left the saintly devotees for us to follow. We have Sadhu, Guru, and Shastra. Sadhu, Guru, Shastra, and they guide us. The bona fide spiritual master, he who knows the science of Krishna, he can guide us how to act in Krishna consciousness. So, Arjuna is here advised to act in Krishna consciousness, following in the footsteps of the Lord's previous disciples, such as the sun god Vivaswan, as mentioned herein before. So Krishna gave the knowledge of Bhagavad Gita to Vivaswan. So the sun god, what is he doing? He is doing his duty. He rises in the morning from the east, sets in the west. He's not like, okay, I'm Krishna conscious now, so I'm going to do nothing. No, in fact, he's doing his duty. He's doing his duty as a sun god. He is Krishna conscious, but he's also acting he's doing his service to Krishna. Similarly for us, each of us, we have certain duties, we have certain positions. So we need to follow on that for the pleasure of Krishna. Do it in a way which is pleasing to Krishna. Do it that I want to do it, so Krishna will be pleased. Let me do it in such a way for the pleasure of Krishna. How can I please Krishna? By doing my duties. This is what is here. The Supreme Lord knows all his past activities as well as those of persons who acted in Krishna consciousness in the past. Therefore, he recommends the acts of the sun god who learned this art from the Lord some millions of years before. All such students of Lord Krishna are mentioned here as past liberated persons engaged in the discharge of duties allotted by Krishna. Yeah, so the sun god, he's liberated. He understood the Bhagavad Gita and he's following Krishna's instructions. He's a pure devotee, Vivaswan. And what is he doing? He is doing his duty as is given to him by Krishna. So we should attempt. Krishna is telling us to do karma yoga, that do whatever duty you need to do, but don't be attached to the result. Do it for my pleasure. Because when we get attached to the result, then we get bound. Then we get bound like Arjuna was getting bound. Oh, then my family will die. Then I will not be able to enjoy. Or I will get sinful reactions. No, but we just act on behalf of Krishna. Then it's Krishna's duty to save us. Then there's not going to be any sin. Why? Because you're acting on Krishna's behalf. And who's going to teach us how to act on Krishna's behalf? We need the guidance of an expert spiritual master. We can't, otherwise everyone might say, oh, today Krishna told me I must do that. But that could be our own mind, So we need the guidance of the expert guidance of a devotee of Krishna. And then, and so Lord Caitanya, what did he say? That surrender to Krishna begins by hearing and chanting. Hearing and chanting. That is what Lord Caitanya came to tell us. How to surrender to Krishna, how to be able to do the activities for the pleasure of Krishna. Hearing and chanting. Hearing and chanting is most pleasing to Krishna. So we do that, take out certain time of the day to hear and chant. And then try to remember what we heard and heard in the morning and chant that throughout the day, or think about it in the mind and do our activities in that way. Is that okay?
Yes. And there was this one lecture they had said that 90% of the people who have never read Bhagavad Gita, but they have this vivid idea that the Krishna said that do your karma and don't worry about the result.
Yeah. Yeah.
They just know this thing that this is Bhagavad Gita. That's it.
Mani eva adhikaraste.
Yeah, कि कर्म करो और फल की चिंता मत करो.
Yeah.
But the Krishna is saying that offer the result to me.
Yeah.
It's not that फल की चिंता मत करो, but
Yeah.
result को मुझ पे offer करो. So that is how they said that how the actual thing came out, what actual it is. And
yeah, it's true. Because we want to take up only the instruction which is suited to me. Oh, this is convenient for me, so let me just take this part of Bhagavad Gita because it's suited for me. But that's not the way that we can understand Bhagavad Gita. That's not how we are going to be able to understand the truth. We have to accept Bhagavad Gita as it is, totally. As Prabhupada would say, I have a chicken. There's one man and he's saying, oh, I don't like the mouth of the hen because I already have to feed it, always have to feed. But I like the back part of the hen because it's always giving me eggs. So let me just cut off the head of the hen and just keep the back part. What you're going to get? No hen. So no hen. So if we accept only certain portion of the Bhagavad Gita and disregard the other portion, we have no knowledge then. Yes, Prabhupada would say that. Ardha Kukur Nyaya. He would say in Bengali, there's a saying. Thank you. Yes, nice, important. So we'll stop here for today. Thank you so much.
okay. Sorry, just one more thing, like how all of us are thinking, and even in Kunti Devi, we always say that why so many troubles are coming when we are doing bhakti. There are challenges. So that means that you're doing the right path. Like when a kid is in grade 1, then Ravi Lochan Prabhu had this lecture. So they said that when there is 1 plus 1, the teacher will tell you 2 when you are in a basic, when you start the basic maths class. But then as you proceed, then you'll have to do algebra, geometry. There will be more complex things. So that means that there will be more challenges so that you could be purified. Those are coming because, like, as you always see that when there is this heartbeat line, it is, if it is straight, then that means it's finished. It has to be ups and downs. That means that it is going. So like how I still remember that we had discussed this long before Chandra Didi, me, and we all had said that this is, so yeah, that means if this is happening, that means that you're on the right path. It's perfect. You don't have to worry.
Jai. Jai. Nice. Thank you. So, Bhagavad Gita ki jai, Shila Prabhupada ki jai, Gaur Premanande, Hari. Thank you so much for listening and joining in and all your participation. Hare Krishna.